Hi guys, today we are making a Barbie party dress. So I made myself this petticoat and I'm going to be using fabric and some other materials today to show you how to make a Barbie party dress. So here are the supplies we are going to be needing. We are going to be needing fabric. We are also going to need a few other materials other than the fabric. We need scissors, thread, a needle, and I like to use some stretchy fabric that you could use as a waistband or other things if you want a closure. And I'm going to use some bar. Okay, now we are going to be making the dress. So we are going to take our path paper so we can do our pattern, but first of all we're going to need a pen and paper, of course. So we're going to take our paper. First we're going to clear away our workspace so we can have enough room for our drawing a pattern. My pattern I'm showing you today is very simple. It's for you beginners who don't know how to make a pattern or sew yet. So this is just an easy way to make a pattern. So fold your A4 paper, printer paper in half. Then you're going to fold it in half again. You're going to fold it in half again. And now we are going to take our pen and we're going to draw a half circle, circle shape on our folded piece of paper. So you saw where our crease is, so we should have both folded knot lines on each side, the opening on the front of us. So we're going to draw out our half circle as big as we can. And now we are going to draw a smaller circle within. So drawing out our little circle, we are going to cut that little circle we made as much as we can. Okay, so it's about 1 centimeter dip so far we have. I think I'm going to do mine 2 centimeters. So I'm going to keep cutting away until we reach our 2 centimeter mark on the little cone shape we're cutting out. I remember what it was called finally, a cone. And we're also going to cut out the bottom circle of the cone. And you don't see me cutting out my top cone of the 2 centimeters yet because I didn't realize at the time that my pattern, that my hole was too small. Now we're definitely gonna cut it out more, up to 2 centimeters. I'm just gonna test it on the Barbie. Let's just see how much I need to cut it. So it definitely needs more cutting. Now you can just watch me struggling to cut out the rest of the hole and testing it about a dozen times. But we just need to cut it a little bit more. Okay, I'm just cutting the last little bit. Okay, now we're definitely done the pattern and we are going to trace it onto some fabric. Now the next step I'm going to be doing is putting my pattern on the fabric, and then I'm going to trace it with a water erasable marker or just a pen. It will be seam allowance anyway. But if you want to, you can pin it down and just cut it like that. I like to trace it because for me, the pattern slips about on these sleek fabrics a lot, and I don't want it like a wonky edge. So I think drawing it out and then cutting the drawn line makes it probably a lot neater, and I like it better that way. So we're just going to move aside all our bits of paper and pens and things. So we're going to take our fabric I'm using the bottom half of my shirt, and I will probably be having more. Okay, we're going to just take up our fabric, and we're going to place our pattern on top, and we're going to trace around it with our pen. So I'm just going to open up my pattern, place it on top, and trace around it. You can place a couple pins when tracing. I don't usually put any pins, I just go with the flow, as some people like to say, but I am just going to trace it straight on. So you can watch me tracing my pattern. Watch me tracing out my pattern. Excuse me if I look a bit sloppy, girly. I'm not the best of drawing around patterns. Now we are going to be making. I'm going to cut out our fabric pattern now, and then I'll meet you back when I'm done. Okay, it's all cut out. Now we are going to be making the bodice. As you can see, I added a half a centimeter seam allowance to when we were cutting out, so we have somewhere to sew on. You can add as much seam allowance as you are comfortable sewing with. So now we're going to make the bodice. Okay, now I'm just going to test it on the doll, and then we can make the bodice. I'm just testing on the doll to make sure it's definitely good size. So that will bring us to the next step, which is making the bodice. So the bodice is very simple because it's for you beginners. I am going to be using some more of our blue fabric, and I am going to use the cuff because it already has some fusible interfacing in it, so it will be so our waist measurement and better. Our bust measurement is about 12 centimeters, and we are also going to be adding a centimeter. I'll be giving you all the measurements so you can know if you want to make the same dress for yourself. Adding as well 1 centimeter for the seam allowance. So we're gonna go to our cuff, and we're going to measure out how long I think it's going to be. So we're gonna measure out 13 on our cuff, and I'm also gonna do the full width of our cuff on the. I'm gonna do the full cuff for the width of the cuff for our how tall our bodice is. If you wanted a short bodice or you don't want to do the same design I'm going to show you at the end of the video for shrinking this bodice into a beautiful sweetheart shape, then you can just shorten the bodice and make it smaller, say, I don't know, 3 centimeters for 5 centimeters. I'm going to do about 7.5 centimeters for mine. And so my entire piece of fabric measures 7.5 centimeters by 14 centimeters. Okay, so now I'm gonna just mark 14 centimeters on our line, and we are just going to cut all the way our little rectangle out with our scissors. I'm gonna let you watch how I'm doing it so you can follow along, or just fast forward to where I'm attaching it to the skirt. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Okay, now we have cut our bodice out of our fabric, and we are going to attach it to the skirt. And I'm going to just pin it right sides together all the way around. and we're gonna sew it down. And then I'll meet you back once I have finished attaching the bodice. Meet you back when I'm done. Okay, our bodice is attached to the skirt. I just did a hand stitched whip stitch all around just to hold the two pieces together. And I'm going to show you how it looks on the doll. It might look a bit funky now, but I assure you it looks gorgeous at the end. Like, you're going to want to make this for yourself. I'm telling you. So we're gonna make, so now I'm going to make it absolutely bling bling. I am going to gather the top into a sweet heart shape, and I'm also going to add buttons, trims, beads, bows, and all those stuff. You can even add sleeves, like sew tubes and like make detachable sleeves, or you can even attach them to your bodice to make like a sleeves, or you can just leave them detachable sleeves. You can remove them for a different look as well if you want to. So I'll meet you back for not showing you any of the beading or process, but here is the finished product, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this. Bye guys.